Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to this album review. It's time to talk about the third major label studio album, sixth overall, by country pop singer Maren Morris. This one is entitled Humble Quest and it is the follow-up to 2019's Girl. So Maren Morris is one of the artists when midway through the last decade, when I was really trying to give mainstream country another chance, she was pegged by several publications as one of the up and coming artists poised to really break out in the genre at that time. This is around 2016, whenever she was first releasing My Church as a single. And of that crop, she was the only one who did. I know because I can't really remember any names from that time that were pegged or poised to break out and find mainstream success. She was really the only one. So she really took the genre by storm and gained a bunch of fans like myself through her unique and original combination of like rock and pop and R&B to a nominally more neo-traditional country sound palette. You know, the country the country sound is the foundation, but then you have a bevy of other textures and colors sort of adding depth to what she was trying to create. 2016's Girl was a phenomenal album. 2019's Girl was as well, though I definitely prefer Hero. Girl, I will say, has not aged as well. um, while I do appreciate that Maren Morris garnered two of the biggest country pop crossover hits of the last decade with The Middle and The Bones, the latter track did sour on me after a while. The Bones was one of those songs where when that album first came out, before it was a single, I had really hoped it would be a single, so when it did, and when it became a huge crossover hit, I was really happy. Though I think by the end of 2020, I think everyone was sick of that song except for me. But then give it another 6 months or so, and then I was finally on the train of, okay, we've had enough. It's time to move on. But with this new album, it's definitely a step up. Definitely rivaling that of 2016's Hero. So the opening track and lead-off single, Circles Around This Town, glides in on cymbal-heavy drum fills, buoying its way into a chorus heavy on vocal layering, and Maren Morris looking back reflectively on her career up to this point, calling back by name to My Church and 80s Mercedes. Now, where the song almost falters in masking Morris's somewhat limited range, it makes up for it with tactful vocal runs and charisma for days and months and years. And though it is kind of early in her career to be name-checking past glory so soon, it is nice to see that she still has the personality and sweet tonality in her delivery that made her so appealing in the first place. The further things marries poignant keys with nominally melancholic synths and soundscapes on the intro, as Morris sings of the burden of touring and life on the road and the challenges that poses to her relationship with her husband Ryan Hurd. But if she's shaken, she doesn't show it. Damn, do we still fit so perfectly, she gracefully repeats. Though Morris seizes the opportunity to show off her vocal chops, she never lets her register reach an unnecessary crescendo that might sully the intimacy of this track. I gotta give bonus points for the savviness. I Can't Love You Anymore is a bit playfully deceitful in its title. If you're expecting a stanza on moving on just from what the title suggests, pack up now. Maren's here to tell her man that their love has reached a peak they'll never come down from, as the southern influences that made 2016's Hero so great make a welcome return. Throw in the steel guitars and bouncy keys, and you have what is arguably the countryest entry of her career thus far. I eagerly hope this becomes a staple at honky tonks everywhere. The title track, Humble Quest, is occupied by lots of subtle vocal runs on the verses and brief belts on the chorus. Only time will tell if this will scale the heights of past pop and adult contemporary crossovers like The Bones, if this song is chosen as a single, but if it is, I can certainly see it making that push. Background music gives me Casey Musgraves vibes with regards to Maren's tonality on the opening bars, and she definitely lets her voice soar from the bridge onward. Stylistically, there's a lot of glassy guitar fills that coexisting with gently crashing drums, as Maren dedicates another round of passages to her man with a level of zest and earnest that past songs like Make Out With Me and even Gold Love on the last album kind of missed out on. Nervous is the kind of incorrupt sexual unruliness that saves the lyrics from feeling cheap. There's no mistaking the blunt honesty that Maren Morris puts on display, backed by a pro-tuberant country and southern rock influences, but you can sense how much she actually means it. If you're not a hopeless romantic with no prayer like me, this might be a smart addition to your Valentine's Day playlist. Maren really sells tall guys with her trademark perky personality. The imagery presented lyrically marks some pleasantly welcome representation for the more mundane things in life, but I can't help but feel for the short kings out there. I mean, I'm 6'2", who might feel left out. Detour is easy to get lost in. I'm hanging on every word, don't get it twisted, but the feeling of displacement reaches a point of realness after a while, as Maren reaffirms her man that she doesn't mind being lost because being together means never being lost. Doc points for repetition if you're even more cynical than someone like me, but the sweetness in these passages is simply remarkable. Hummingbird probably meant the most to Maren Morris to write, but the ambiguous imagery poses a challenge if you're trying to latch on emotionally. If you interpret these lyrics as a parent talking to a child, learning to let go of their child, it can tug at your heartstrings, even someone like me that doesn't plan on ever having kids. I can't do anything but commend Maren Morris's vocal performance because it definitely adds to this worthy could be, would be, should be song of the year candidate. But like I said, if you're struggling to find yourself in these passages, your mileage may vary on what, if any, shock to the system it leaves you with. Good Friends is leagues more universal, however. If you have a friend in your life you can count on and connect with anytime and any day, this upbeat late album slow burn is definitely up your alley. The ambiguity is more appropriately placed because all relationships, romantic or platonic, will be a hand in glove fit for these lyrics. The discreet steel guitars on the bridge are a nice touch as well. And then the closing track, What Would This World Do, is more solid execution for sure. I'd be hard pressed to argue against it, though perhaps my fellow disappointed idealists out there could be forgiven if they were to suggest that this closing cut borders on sort of performative put on. And put on performative beyond the literal sense, as if it were crossing a checkbox off a lyrical cliche quota. Maren sings her tail off, no two ways about it, and she utilizes the backing vocals to create a richer soundscape here. And after the countless doses of intimate thankfulness she's shown thus far, it certainly makes sense to milk that for all it's worth and not allow any last minute bombast to throw off the album's sense of ebb and flow. And that's where we end things off. So it's a phenomenal album, definitely better than Girl, definitely rivals 2016's Hero. I love the marked and welcome return to the more overtly southern country influences that made her first major label album so great. It definitely is an album that will shut up the skeptics, I think, because I feel like Maren Morris just at a first glance could be a little bit harder to root for, um, because she definitely has a foot in the pop camp. You know, there's a lot of purists out there in country music, purists who consume country music, who might not be so privy on her take on the genre. But if you're anything like those people, this is the kind of album that might put you in your place and get you to lay off. So I am going to give Home Quest a 5 out of 5. But that's all I have to say. If you enjoyed this review, smack the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified the next time a video drops. We'll see you again soon.